Have you ever held on to a memory so tightly that it felt like you were carrying a heavy backpack everywhere you go? Perhaps a painful experience, a relationship that ended, a betrayal, an unmet expectation, or even grief itself. The weight grows, the straps dig into your shoulders, and you begin to wonder, how do I set that backpack down? What if I told you that over 2,000 years ago, Buddhist sages were already pointing towards simple but profound methods to release such burdens? And that modern psychology, in its latest evidence-based therapies, is remarkably aligned with these ancient practices. Today, we're embarking on a journey of healing, Buddhism and the psychology of moving on, how Buddhist philosophy aligns with modern therapeutic approaches. If you've ever asked yourself, how can I truly let go and heal? This video is for you. Welcome to the Unfolding Journey YouTube channel, where we explore paths of inner transformation, healing, and growth. If you're someone who's curious about how ancient wisdom meets modern science, if you seek practical tools for emotional resilience, or if you simply want to cultivate peace amidst life's storms, this is your space. Every video, we dive deep into ideas, stories, and practices that help you unfold more of who you are, so you can live more fully, more freely. In Buddhist philosophy, the notion of letting go is central. The teachings speak of dukkha, suffering or dissatisfaction, attachment upadana, impermanence anicca, and non-self anatta. These are not abstract doctrines but practical guideposts. Impermanence anicca, everything in life changes: people, feelings, objects, situations. Clinging to what changes inevitably causes suffering. The Buddha taught that understanding impermanence helps one loosen grip, recognizing that pain, like joy, is transient. Attachment and craving, tanha, attachment to pleasure, ideas of self, expectations, these give rise to craving. When expectations fail, suffering ensues. Letting go means reducing craving, freeing oneself from rigid expectations. Mindfulness, sati, and awareness. Observing our internal experiences, thoughts, feelings, sensations, with clarity and without judgment allows us to see how attachment forms. Mindfulness is a tool for recognizing patterns of resisting, clinging, rejecting. Non-self, anatta, the idea that there is no fixed, permanent self. Much suffering comes from believing in a rigid, unchanging identity. If one loosens this belief, then losses of identity, roles, relationships do not crush as severely. Compassion and loving kindness. Metta and karu, letting go isn't cold or indifferent. Buddha taught compassion toward ourselves and others, allowing healing through kindness, forgiving, accepting. These teachings are not simply philosophical. They include meditation, reflection, ethical living as means to integrate letting go into your being. Now let's look at two leading therapeutic models: cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT. Both are evidence-based, widely used, and have interesting parallels with Buddhist philosophy. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. Core idea: thoughts, feelings, and behaviors influence each other. Negative or distorted thoughts lead to emotional distress and maladaptive behaviors. If one changes the thought pattern, one can change how one feels and acts. Cognitive restructuring. In CBT, you learn to identify distorted or automatic negative thoughts. I am worthless, nothing will ever change, and challenge or reframe them. Replace them with more balanced, realistic, and helpful thoughts. Behavioral activation. Engaging in activities that promote well-being, even when you don't feel like it, can shift mood. Acting as if can help break cycles of avoidance. Exposure. Facing feared situations gradually to reduce the power of those fears. Acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT. Core idea: suffering often comes not from the thoughts or feelings themselves, but from trying to avoid, suppress, or control them. ACT encourages acceptance of internal experience, commitment to actions aligned with personal values. Acceptance. Allow thoughts and feelings to be as they are, without fighting them, resisting, or trying to push them away. Cognitive diffusion. Learning to observe thoughts as merely thoughts, not facts, not necessarily the truth, not necessarily dictates of behavior. Mindfulness/present moment awareness. Being here now, attending to what is happening in the moment, rather than ruminating about past hurts or future fears. Values clarification and committed action. Clarifying what truly matters to you, your values, and taking steps, however small, in those directions, despite discomfort. Let us now explore how Buddhist teachings and these psychological models align, where they overlap, where they may differ, and what each can offer. Mindfulness and awareness. Both Buddhism and ACT center around mindfulness, observing inner experience without judgment, seeing things as they are. This recognition helps one see attachment/craving or negative thought patterns clearly. The Buddhist practice of Satipana, Foundations of Mindfulness, is similar in its attentiveness to thoughts, feelings, body sensations. Letting go versus acceptance. Buddhism's letting go resonates strongly with ACT's acceptance. Rather than suppress or resist unpleasant emotions, both Buddhism and ACT say, allow, observe, accept, learn. Impermanence and cognitive flexibility. The Buddhist teaching that nothing lasts forever is akin to CBT's challenge to rigid thoughts. It will always be like this. I'm always. Embracing impermanence can foster cognitive flexibility. Non-attachment versus diffusion. In ACT, cognitive diffusion practices teach you to step back from thoughts, to not fuse with them. In Buddhism, non-attachment similarly teaches one to not become one's thoughts or to cling to identity or narrative. Value-centered living and ethical action. Buddhism stresses ethical conduct, sila, generosity, kindness, compassion, as foundational to reducing suffering. ACT emphasizes values and committed action. Aligning behavior with values supports healing. While the parallels are strong, there are also nuanced differences. Metaphysical or spiritual grounding. Buddhist philosophy is embedded in a spiritual worldview, karma, rebirth, enlightenment. CBT/ACT are secular therapies, though practitioners sometimes integrate spiritual beliefs. Some Buddhist teachings assume ongoing cycles, spiritual liberation, which CBT/ACT may not address. Emphasis on renunciation. In classical Buddhism, there is sometimes a stronger emphasis on renouncing attachments, even worldly ones. In therapy, especially ACT, the idea is not to reject your attachments entirely, but to relate to them differently, and sometimes to pursue healthy attachments, relationships, passions, as part of valued living. Depth and scope of self-inquiry. Buddhist paths often include deep and sustained meditation, monastic traditions, philosophical training. CBT/ACT are designed for therapeutic settings, often limited time frames, more focused on alleviating pathology, anxiety, depression, etc. Ultimate goal. In Buddhism, the ultimate goal is awakening, enlightenment, liberation from suffering. In psychological therapies, the goals are improved functioning, mental well-being, psychological flexibility, reducing distress, not necessarily spiritual awakening. Given the alignments, how can we integrate Buddhist philosophy and modern therapy methods to foster genuine emotional healing and let go? Mindfulness meditation. Set aside time daily to observe thoughts, feelings, body sensations. When painful memories arise, notice them. Name them: anger, sadness, fear. Observe their arising and passing. Don't suppress. With repeated practice, the grip of these experiences loosens. Cognitive reframing. When you notice automatic negative thoughts, CBT style, pause. Ask, is this thought true? Is it always true? What evidence supports or contradicts it? Can I think of more balanced perspectives? Buddhism encourages wisdom. Panna, seeing clearly how thoughts and beliefs shape suffering. Acceptance and compassion. When feelings are overwhelming, allow them to be. Let the wave wash over you rather than swimming against it. At the same time, bring compassion toward yourself for having these feelings, toward others involved. This echoes metta loving-kindness practice. Values and committed action. Define what truly matters to you: connection, growth, kindness, creativity, justice, service. Then take actions, even small, in the direction of those values. You might still feel pain, loss, regret, but your life moves forward with meaning. Letting go of attachment to identity. Many of our pains come from stories we tell ourselves. I am a failure. I am rejected. I must always be strong. Buddhism's concept of non-self suggests these identity stories are changeable, constructed. Therapy helps you see them as optional narratives, not the whole truth. Let me paint a picture. Suppose someone, let's call her Maya, has been hurt in a relationship. She feels betrayed, ashamed, afraid to trust again. She ruminates. I'll never love again. I'm worthless. She isolates herself. Avoidance becomes her routine. In CBT, a therapist might help Maya to challenge the automatic thoughts. I'm worthless. I have strengths and people who care about me. Examine evidence. Then, gradually reintroduce social contact, behavioral activation. In ACT, she might learn to accept her anxiety, the shame, without fighting them. She might practice diffusion, observing thoughts like, I'm worthless as mental events, not facts. Simultaneously, she clarifies what she values, perhaps love, honesty, companionship, and commits to stepping into relationships again even with fear. From Buddhism, she might practice mindfulness meditation, observing the pain, recognizing impermanence. These feelings too will pass. Cultivating self-compassion through metta. She may learn that forming attachment to expectations, that someone will never hurt her again, that she must be perfect, causes suffering. She may see the non-self narrative. This story of being betrayed is part of her suffering but not her whole self. When Maya integrates these methods over time, her heavy backpack becomes lighter. She does not forget, but her relationship to the past changes. She is free to move forward. To sum up, Buddhist philosophy teaches letting go through awareness of impermanence, reducing attachment, cultivating compassion, and non-self. Modern therapies, especially CBT and ACT, provide tools for reframing thoughts, accepting internal experience, clarifying values, committing to meaningful action. There is strong alignment: mindfulness, acceptance, flexible cognition, ethical or values-based living. The differences lie mostly in spiritual framing, depth of practice, ultimate goals, but those need not prevent integration. If you're struggling to move on, you need not choose between ancient wisdom or modern psychology. You can draw from both. Let meditation steady your mind, therapy reorient your thoughts, acceptance heal your heart, values guide your actions. Thank you for traveling with me through this exploration. If you found this video helpful, if it sparked any new understanding about letting go, moving on, or healing, then I invite you to take one small action. Subscribe to the unfolding journey. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss future videos where we explore more intersections of wisdom and psychological healing. If you have questions, reflections, or experiences of your own, please leave them in the comments. They may help someone else on a similar path. May you find peace, clarity, courage, and may your backpack grow lighter, step by step. Until the next journey, be gentle with yourself.